What is the best comeback that works against all insults? Hello people of Reddit, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the ultimate comeback, one that takes down any insult, no sweat. Ever wanted that one comeback that works like a charm every time? Well, get ready, because we got the secret sauce right here. From funny digs to serious burns, this comeback's your Swiss Army knife for shutting down any insult that comes your way. So hang tight, hit subscribe, and get ready to own any conversation with this ultimate comeback that works like a boss. Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with us. Number 20. Once I saw an AIT post where a bride was jealous of a guest because she was too beautiful and stole her day, even if she was perfectly elegant, and she was insulting her. The bride told her, "So next time, can I come to your wedding in a wedding gown?" The guest replied, "If you think it'll help." And I found that epic. Number 19. Well, I guess what everyone says about you is true. My dad told me to say this, and the typical bully type will generally go crazy thinking everyone talks about them behind their back. My dad loves a variation on this. "I don't care what everybody says about you. I think you're great." Number 18. Where I trained, there was an old joke we used to say. Long-winded, but here you go. A young man goes to the circus on a first date and is sat on the ringside watching the acts when the clowns came in. One clown looks at the young man and steams over to him, getting right in his face. "F off, go on, get out." Embarrassed, the man leaves his date and leaves the circus. Full of shame and anger, he decides he's never going to be spoken to and belittled like that again. He studies hard, becomes a litigation lawyer, and becomes world famous in his field. He becomes known as the man who wins every case and can make grown men cry with just a withering look, but he can never forget the shame at his treatment from the clown. Many years after his initial visit to the circus, he returns, all prepared to get his own back, and finally, his moment arrives. The clowns walk into the ring. The clown immediately spots him and steams right over, hitting in his face again. "I told you before, F off. Go on, get out." The man stands up, the shame from all those years ago rising in him. He draws a deep breath, looks the clown straight in the eye and stutters, "F off, big nose." Told you it was long-winded, and also not terribly funny. However, it became the stop response in the workshop whenever someone needed putting in their place with an insult, and never failed to make the workshop laugh. Number 17. I found out just asking why, and putting them in a position to explain their insult, which didn't have much thought behind it, works well. Number 16. Big fan of the pause for a beat, deadpan, and then some variation/combo of "you done. Feel better now? Got that out of your system." Just that pause and a little bit of patronizing tone while dismissing the childlike behavior usually does more to the ego than a counter-insult. "I'm a woman in my job" basically boils down to arguing with attorneys who are mostly men with huge egos and a large helping of disdain for people they deem beneath them. It's common for them to get pushy, loud, and insulting when they're not getting their way. That was intimidating at first, but now I look forward to it because it gives me an opportunity to use my favorite line. "It sounds like you're getting a little emotional about this. Do you want to call me back when you've calmed down so we can get this done?" This is always met with a delicious pause, followed by them either hanging up or launching into the most high-pitched screeching you've ever heard. Being called emotional by a woman who is perfectly calm breaks something in them, and it's my favorite thing. Number 15. Stick your finger in your mouth/cheek and pull it forward and out so that it makes a popping noise. There aren't many people who wouldn't be speechless after witnessing that during a conversation/argument. Number 14. You're right. Whatever it is they're saying, agree with them and don't argue. It's infuriating for them. People insult others with the expectation of causing confrontation, so when you don't take the bait, it drives them insane. Number 13. What do you mean by that exactly? Have them explain exactly what they meant, preferably a few times until they realize how dumb they look. Works really well for subtle, passive-aggressive insults that most people ignore at the time, then get angry about afterwards. Number 12. Some clever comments, but honestly, if you're triggered, you've already lost. The words aren't that important. It's a power dynamic between egos that will use insecurity to crush others. Start by realizing that and you will go a long way. You have to first admit to yourself that these words did hurt you, and that's okay. Number 11. If whoever's insulting you walks up out of nowhere to do so, after they're done insulting you just look them up and down like you're sizing them up and go back to whatever you were doing previously without saying anything. It's saying that they're not even worth a fraction of your time and is in my opinion, a more effective version of the silent treatment. Number 10. My dad told me to respond to bullying by saying, "Sorry about your family situation," and walk away looking very sympathetic and sad. Like you understand and it's okay. I've caused a few breakdowns for sure. Reply. One of my main bullies got to me. There was a rumor going around that his dad was super abusive. He called me fat for the trillionth time, and I turned and said, "I see why your dad hit you now, dude freaking freak now. I'm a girl so he didn't beat me up. Hope he's doing better. Still kind of feel bad for snapping in that way. No one deserves to be beaten by a parent." Number 9. There was a female gamer doing a live stream, taking shit from some she just beat. Without a pause, she drops, "I'm going to f your dad tonight and get birth to someone he actually loves." Number 8. Just walk away while they are talking. It's probably the rudest thing you can do. Plus, you save your time, and if they call you a coward, smile in evil joy as you know they'll be thinking about this for the rest of the week. I've always done this as a natural defense in situations or conversations that I don't like. I only discovered in my late 20s that it's pretty rude, lol. But I still do it. Number 7. Alright, I will share this S-tier comeback with you all. Be careful using it because it's illegal in a lot of places, and for good reason. During the dispute, you simply need to ask calmly and genuinely, "Why are you making your voice deeper?" Your opponent is simply unable to talk properly afterwards. If they try, just continue to gaslight them into thinking they are. There is simply no further retort. The dispute is over. Conversely, I like to alternate between their eyes and their hairline/top of their head. Most people are hyper-aware that you're looking at something out of place on their face or in their hair. It drives them nuts because now they feel like they need to stop and go find a mirror, with the immediacy to do so dependent upon their own level of frustration or anxiety. Number 6. I'm kind of an awkward guy, but I'm also aware of it. It can be a superpower against some people. Big fan of the awkward pause/dead air after they say something before turning to them and asking you done, and going back to whatever I was doing. The uncomfortable silence doesn't bother me a bit. Number 5. The anti-comeback is my favorite. A light breeze has more effect on me than someone insulting or bullying me these days. I couldn't tell you what the last 5 or 10 people in my life that tried to publicly humiliate me even looked like. I never looked at them. What they were saying never made me miss a beat in whatever I was doing. They get so mad every time, try to bait me a few times, and then eventually give up. Meanwhile, everyone around me can hear and see what's happening. There's only one person that everyone is witnessing making an ass of themselves, and it's not me. This no reaction is the best reaction. I don't even entertain shit talkers, and if anything, let them have their moment as it gives a decent perspective as to where their heads are at. I moved into a new neighborhood a few years back and have no idea what I did to get on one of my neighbor's bad side. I've moved every 18 months of my life since birth and lived all over the world, and it wasn't until almost 40 that I came across the most vile and disturbed neighbor I've ever had. Shortly after moving in, got invited to a little get-together, and dude was projecting for almost an hour straight, giggling and laughing his ass off the whole time, trying to get a rise out of me. He had spent some time looking me up online and was boasting about things he had found. I'm a former celebrity overseas and my life is an open book, and have had a few stalkers in the past. This guy took the prize for the most obsessed and weirdest interaction I've ever had when first meeting someone, let alone a new neighbor. Thanks to them, I cleaned up my online presence as I am no longer famous was a long time ago, and don't bother with people younger than me anymore. We would have neighborhood watch meetings and the guy or his boyfriend would make snide remarks about my son's attire. I never gave them the time of day, and everyone could see them festering from their weird obsession with being so negative. I'm a pretty self-aware dude and know if I'm committing a social faux pas. This dude apparently isn't. Let them keep talking without engaging and it will speak volumes about them versus whatever it is they're accusing or bullying you for. Freaking weirdos. Number 4. Just laugh out loud. If someone's trying to make you mad, acting like nothing they've said matters to you in the least, and their best attempts at making you feel bad or laughable will really take the wind out of their sails. I've done it. It's immensely satisfying. Number 3. I don't get why that's funny. Can you explain it to me? As soon as they start talking. I was just kidding, I don't actually care what you think. Number 2. Earnestly ask them if they are awk. TLDR. Being in the trades gets you some good practice in comebacks. I'm an electrical apprentice, and when I first started there was a bit of hazing and teasing from the journeyman. It never got too bad, mostly a lot of talk. One in particular was kind of on me one day, and since he was fairly young, just recently licensed, I just responded like, did someone treat you like this when you were an apprentice? Do you have some unresolved issues? Do you need a hug? Oddly, he never really responded, but I didn't have any trouble with him anymore. On the same job, the excavator accidentally broke our grounding grid, a big underground copper cable grid used to ground all the structures in the substation. So I had to jump down in the rain into the hole to patch it up. It was wet and muddy, but I was wearing a full rain suit. Another older journeyman who was my foreman and had worked for my father more than once made a sarcastic remark along the lines of, "We should take a picture. Wouldn't your daddy be proud?" I just looked up at him and said, "Well, I'm doing my job, I'm doing it well, and I'm not bitching and complaining about it." "Yeah, he likely would be proud." I also had another apprentice yell at me, "Stop talking to me like I'm a f***ing moron," to which I responded, "Stop talking to me like you're a f***ing moron." I did kind of provoke him, but he was being really dense. Number 1. Hold a stare and blank face for at least 3 seconds, and then ask in a concerning tone, "Are you okay?" Thanks for hanging out with us and diving into the world of epic comebacks. If you dug what you saw, drop a like and share the sass with your crew. If you have a savage comeback story, please tell us in the comments. We're all ears for your witty tales. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe and tap that bell. You don't want to miss the next video. Till next time, keep owning those conversations and stay awesome. Catch you later.